Look at that, guys, a big stingray. And so, guys, this is the entrance into the Tarpon Springs Aquarium. Well, here we are inside the Tarpon Springs Aquarium, and look, it is one of the first things I see, sponges! However, I know there is so much more to see and do in the aquarium, so let's go. Let's go explore on our virtual field trip. Woohoo, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
We're going to be doing an eel feeding show if you want to watch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that now or? Sorry.
So these are black-edged eels, black-edged moray eels. They're also called oscillated moray eels, and some people call them shrimp eels because their favorite food is shrimp, which works out. These are not really the world's biggest eels or anything. They max out at about 18 inches, so probably this guy down here is pretty much full-grown. And moray eels are known for one thing in particular. Does anyone know what that is? Shopping. They have really big teeth. That's what they're known for. They have really big teeth. These guys are no exception. Now they do have these really cool straws coming out of their nose right here. And those actually help them smell better. It doesn't work on humans though, so don't try it. It doesn't make you smell better because it's straws in your nose. But these guys are really cool. Now they're found in a little bit more cold water. And they live in these rock piles. That's why they're long and skinny and slithery. Because fish are designed to live for certain environments. Like sharks are big and bulky because they swim around. And these guys are long and slithery so they can hide in the rocks. Stingrays are flat so they live on the bottom. Things like that. So they have terrible eyesight. They can't hardly see a thing. They can see light and dark, so they can see shadows. They know that I'm standing out here and they know that I'm talking. So they can actually feel it against the glass, and they've learned that that means that someone's going to feed me soon. So they're getting all excited. Now the people who come across these the most are the shrimpers. When they haul the trawls alongside the boat, they get everything along with the shrimp. So they'll get the shrimp and they'll get these eels, and they're sorting through their catch, and they come across these guys. Now all fish have slime. You probably know that. Really slimy and gross. Part of their immune system. These fish in particular have a really nice slime coating that's actually toxic. So they bite into you, they have really sharp teeth, and then they get this toxic slime coating in it, and it stings like crazy. So the shrimpers usually try to wear some nice thick gloves, that way they don't get bit. These are actually off of a shrimp boat, that's where we got them. We asked them to throw some in a bucket for us. There's about 15 eels in here, and I'm actually going to be feeding them for you guys today so you can see them eat. We have a really interesting way of feeding them though. Being how their eyesight is really terrible, if I was to throw in a piece of shrimp, well, I'll show you what will happen if I throw in a piece of shrimp. It's really exciting.
Oh.
So we'll take a shrimp, take a little one, headless one apparently, we'll throw it in, and one person gets it and he runs away with it.
And that's just because he happened to be there?
He happened to be there, yeah. Most of the time, you watch it sink all the way to the bottom,
yeah.
and no one gets it. But it hit him in the face, so he found it. But usually now the reason that they don't have any eyesight is because they come out at night, and there's no night lights in the ocean, so it's really, really dark. So even if he could see, it wouldn't really be very helpful. He has to go completely on smell anyways. So a different way that we feed them, so that way everyone gets a chance to see them eat, is I'm going to use one of these fancy clips here. Do you guys know what kind of clip this is? It's not a giant diaper clip. It's that one a lot.
It's like a curtain rod. Bathroom.
It does kind of look like one. This is
shower curtain.
Yeah, shower curtain. This is actually a long line clip though. This is what they use in long line fishing. So they'll bait them up. They'll have hooks with leaders, and we're gonna give them a piece of herring. You have to put it through the eyeball. You want to get a good shot of this? Put it through the eyeball.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh man, I got a little blood on me. How exciting!
Never happened before.
Never happens in my life. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Alright, so we're going to put this in here, and I want you guys to watch. Hopefully they don't splash.
Thank you.
Oh, crap.
Wow.
Okay, they're going to go nuts. They can actually tie their body in a complete knot, which is the craziest thing. Oh, someone ripped it off. Somebody got it. Alright. What they can do is they can grab onto a piece of meat, start an overhand knot basically in their tail, and work it up their body, and then push against that knot to pull that piece of meat off, to pull that hunk off, because they don't have any arms, you know, they can't push against anything. So they have to use that force, and they do have backbones. A lot of people think, oh, they don't have any spines, that's why they can do it. They do have a backbone. And they're one of the only fish that can do that. The only other fish that can do it are hagfish, but they're really gross, so no one wants to talk about them. So, let's find another piece of fish here. We've got a nice fish tail.
How much will you feed them?
I'm going to give them 2 pieces of fish.
And that's it? Like what you're doing right now?
Yep.
Oh.
And then they'll get fed again later today.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, I've never done a tail before, so we'll see how this works out. But we'll throw this in here. Might get it pretty quick. It's not as tough as the head. Oh, he got the whole piece, pig. Alright. Oh, there's a little piece hanging there. Someone might get it floating. Oh. See, he ran into it. That's how he found it. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to slide down the last got a green blue colored skin. And he's covered in yellow slime. And what happens when you mix blue and yellow? You get green. So now his slime is not toxic. And those are some of the smallest eels. This guy is one of the largest. They can grow up to 10 feet long, which is the length of this tank that he's in. So they can get really, really big. They can weigh almost 100 pounds. I mean, they look something out of a science fiction movie. They're really kind of scary. Now, these guys also have lots of teeth. And by the way, their teeth is curved backwards, so it faces towards the back of their throat. You guys know the purpose of that?
So hold on to something.
Hold on to it, yeah. And if it does get away, it's like kind of limping. So he can recapture it, exactly. So they also have roof on the teeth on the roof of their mouth and on their tongue. They all face backwards. And I had somebody tell me one time, well, if you get bit by a green moray eel, you just stick your hand further down his throat and you go with the teeth, and then he'll gag and he'll open his mouth and you can pull your hand out.
Sure, go ahead.
Great in theory, but it's never going to work. The first reason is he eats his food whole, so what does he not have? Gag reflex.
Yeah.
So you stick your hand further down his mouth, you've successfully stuck your hand further down his mouth. Okay? The other problem is these guys don't swallow the same way we do. We have muscles in our throat and move the food down. They have what's called pharyngeal jaws. There's a pharyngeal region, the pharynx, really fancy word, right here where these holes are. That's where their gill holes are. Like on a fish, you got big flaps. These guys have holes. Excuse me. And there's actually a second set of jaws down there that are lined with teeth. They move forward into his mouth, grab a hold of whatever he's trying to swallow, and move back down his throat. So you stick your hand further down his mouth, you have a whole other set of jaws to deal with, lined with teeth. So it's just not a good method. So just avoid them and don't ever get your hand stuck in his mouth, and it'll work out. So this guy, we give him 1 piece of fish because there's only one of them, and he's a much more warm water species of eel. He's found more in the Caribbean. If I feed him too much, get sick and they'll die. That's really sad because I really like my job. I'm tired. So we're going to put a piece of fish on here. He will get fed later today though too. So. Sydney. Okay. Put this piece of fish on. Wipe our hands off a little bit. I want you guys to watch for that movement in his throat because it's really, really cool. There it goes. Right there. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, he's stuck on the stick. There we go. You got it. And he swallowed and he's good. He's done.
Wow.
Do they have to be? No. You can feed him every other day.
Well, I think we were really fortunate to get Brittany as our tour guide through part of the Tarpon Springs Aquarium. Brittany is studying to be a marine biologist at university, and she sure knows a lot about what's going on under the sea. Not only does Brittany give tours here, she also dives in and is able to feed the sharks, and Brittany, as you could see, also takes care of both types of eels. When Brittany isn't working here at the Tarpon Springs Aquarium, she works for the Fish and Wildlife Department of the government. What Brittany does for them is that she takes out tours and guided boat excursions to introduce people to the wildlife and plants and animals that are under the sea all around us in Florida. So we have seen some of the sea life that shares the marine or sea life environment with the natural grown sponges. Now let's go see what else there is that might be living under the sea. The coral reef that we just saw certainly is beautiful. And to think that all of this shares space with the naturally grown sponges and all the sea life that we saw today at the Tarpon Springs Aquarium. I hope you enjoyed seeing the stingrays. They're certainly active and very friendly. I believe that this has been a wonderful virtual field trip, and I hope that you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you.